This video should be used in combination with the installation instructions provided with your HYDRO-BLOK products. If you have any questions, contact your HYDRO-BLOK representative before you start installation. Backer blocks must be installed around the perimeter of HYDRO-BLOK shower pan models with a 2-inch outside height so that wallboard may be properly secured to the wall studs. Cut the 2-inch ABS or PVC drain pipe 1/8 of an inch higher than the subfloor. Clean off any burrs on the 2-inch pipe after cutting. The drain pipe must be centered through a 5-inch round opening in the subfloor and should be securely fastened below the subfloor before installing the pan. Carefully remove the shower pan and accessories from their packaging and ensure all components listed in your installation guide are present. Straight and corner putty knives, 2-inch mesh tape, drain installation key, drain tray, riser, and strainer, and the brass drain body gasket and nut. Now carefully measure the area where the shower pan will be installed to determine if the pan must be cut to size. We recommend leaving 1/8 of an inch space between the pan edge and the framed wall. Cut your shower pan to size on a sturdy work surface, being careful to double check all measurements before cutting. Always measure from the center of the drain to the outside edges of the shower pan. In this example, the drain pipe location is offset due to a floor joist, so we will trim one end of the shower pan and use it as an extension on the other side. The shower pan can be cut to size using a power saw with a minimum 40-tooth blade for a 7.5-inch circular, handsaw, or a sharp utility knife. The 1/2-inch by 1/2-inch notch must be recut on any side where it's trimmed away in order to ensure a proper seal around the shower pan. Due to the offset drain in our example, we will be reusing the trimmed section on the other side of our pan. We must also recut a notch to mate with the existing notch on the pan. Adjust your saw blade to a 1/2-inch depth and cut the top side of the pan a 1/2 inch from the edge. Complete the notch by adjusting your saw blade to cut a 1/2 inch from the top and carefully complete the cut. A razor knife and straight edge may also be used to create the notch. Remove the excess material and use a razor knife to make any adjustments to the notch. Now dry fit your shower pan and any extensions to ensure the subfloor opening and drain pipe are centered inside the drain opening. Ensure all sides of the shower pan fit comfortably to the walls. Never try to force the shower pan to fit as you risk damaging the pan. Prepare your HYDRO-BLOK joint sealant in a cartridge or sausage gun so that you have a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch bead of sealant. Now remove the drain nut and both gaskets from the brass drain body. Remove the solid brass caulking nut and rubber gasket from the inside of the drain body. Apply a continuous 1/4-inch bead of HYDRO-BLOK joint sealant around the top edge of the first notch inside the brass drain profile, ensuring that the bead is not broken. Now place the solid brass drain body into the joint sealant and seat it firmly into the second notch in the black shower pan drain base. If necessary, place the shower pan on edge so you have access to the bottom of the pan. On the underside of the drain, slide the black rubber gasket and then the white fiber gasket over the drain body threads. We recommend holding the drain body from the top of the shower pan to ensure it remains seated. Thread the solid brass locking nut onto the drain body. Hand tighten the locking nut until the gaskets are snug against the stainless steel supporting ring on the underside of the shower pan. Once snug, check the positioning of the drain body to ensure it's in the proper position. Tighten the locking nut by hand until tight. Do not use tools. Now wipe away any excess sealant from the edge of the solid brass drain body. Clean the shower pan install area of any dirt, dust, or debris. Before installing the pan, double-check your drain pipe is properly centered in a 5-inch opening in your subfloor and is properly secured. Apply thinset to the subfloor, starting at the back of the shower area troweling towards the front. This will ensure there will be no air voids in the installation. Do not cross-channel trowel lines or air cannot escape. Apply thinset to the back of your shower pan using the smooth side of the trowel. Do not apply thinset on or within a 1/2 inch of the stainless steel drain support ring. Place the shower pan into position on the subfloor and press firmly into place. Apply thinset to the back of the shower pan extension piece. Also apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of HYDRO-BLOK joint sealant along the shower pan notch where the shower pan extension will be installed. Apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of HYDRO-BLOK joint sealant along the notch of the shower pan extension and along the exposed foam edge of the pan or extension. Place the extension into position by slowly angling it into the seam joint sealant and then lowering it into the thinset. This will ensure good adhesion of the joint sealant with the foam without forcing the thinset up into the joint. Now you can ensure the shower pan and extension are level and in the proper position on the subfloor and press into place by walking on the shower pan. Slide the rubber caulking gasket bevel side up over the 2-inch drain pipe until it's flush with the top of your drain pipe. Soapy water may be used to help ease the rubber gasket onto the pipe. Do not use a petroleum-based lubricant. Ensure that the rubber gasket is not higher than the top of the 2-inch drain pipe. Thread the solid brass caulking nut into the drain body to compress the rubber gasket onto the 2-inch drain pipe until it's hand tight. Use the flat tightening key with a flat blade screwdriver to further tighten the caulking nut. Dry fit the drain tray strainer to ensure they're level and can be positioned properly. Do not glue the drain tray into the opening. If the drain cover needs to be raised to accommodate thicker tile or stone, use the supplied plastic drain riser to adjust the height of the drain cover. Now remove all excess thinset from the front of the shower pan. Carefully measure and plan out the cuts required for your wallboard on one side. Use a utility knife and straight edge or power saw to cut your HYDRO-BLOK wallboard to size. Dry fit all wallboard pieces to ensure a proper fit before installing. Apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant in the shower pan notch. Small spots of joint sealant can be used to help hold the wallboard in place before it's permanently secured. Now fasten the wallboard to the studs using HYDRO-BLOK screws and washers. Place the first washer 12 inches up from the bottom of the shower pan. Continue placing washers and screws every 12 inches along each stud. Install the screws and washers so that the washer is flush or just below the surface of the wallboard. Apply a continuous 1/2 inch bead of joint sealant into the corner seam of the shower pan where it meets the wallboard. Use the corner putty knife to smooth out the sealant so that there's at least 1 inch of sealant on either side of the seams. Cut a length of 2-inch mesh tape supplied with your shower pan 2 inches shorter than the seam length. Press the mesh into the seam, starting at the center, pressing it into the existing joint sealant. Apply a continuous 1/2 inch bead of joint sealant on top of the mesh tape and smooth out again with the corner putty knife to fully cover the mesh tape. We recommend marking all stud locations on your shower pan, particularly if you're installing a HYDRO-BLOK niche or other custom shower feature. To install wallboard in a corner with previously installed wallboard, apply a 1/2-inch continuous bead of joint sealant down the edge of the existing wallboard and into the shower pan notch. Now press the new wallboard firmly into the shower notch and against the existing wallboard in the corner. Install HYDRO-BLOK screws and washers to properly secure the wallboard to the studs. To install wallboard adjacent to previously installed wallboard, apply a 1/2-inch continuous bead of joint sealant down the side of the existing wallboard and into the shower pan notch. Angle the new sheet of wallboard into place so that it seats firmly into the bead of joint sealant on edge of the existing wallboard. Then position the wallboard firmly into the notch of the shower pan. Secure each sheet of wallboard with HYDRO-BLOK screws and washers as you go. Openings for shower fixtures can be cut easily with a utility knife. Apply a 1/2-inch continuous bead of joint sealant down the edge of the existing wallboard and into the shower pan notch. Now press the new wallboard firmly into the shower notch and against the existing wallboard in the corner. Secure the wallboard with HYDRO-BLOK screws and washers. Apply a 1/2-inch continuous bead of joint sealant along all wallboard seams and smooth out with the corner putty knife. Now cut lengths of the included mesh tape 2 inches shorter than each seam between the shower pan and wallboard. Apply the mesh tape along all seams starting from the center, pressing the mesh tape into the sealant. Then cover with a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant and smooth out with the corner putty knife. Fully cover all screws and washers with a joint sealant and smooth out with the flat putty knife. Openings in the wallboard for niches and other custom features can be cut with a utility knife. Apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant along the foam edge of any horizontal wallboard seams. Install the new sheet of wallboard by angling it into the bead of joint sealant and pressing downwards firmly. Continue to secure the wallboard with screws and washers as it's placed. To install wallboard on the lower edge of a custom niche, trowel thinset onto the supporting structure. Remove any thinset accidentally applied onto the wallboard edge. Apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant along the foam edge of the existing wallboard. Now firmly press the wallboard into place in the thinset, using a 1/2 inch bead of joint sealant between all adjoining pieces of wallboard. Smooth out all excess joint sealant with a flat putty knife. Lower the rear wallboard section into a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant and secure with screws and washers. Smooth out any excess joint sealant along seams with the corner putty knife. Custom shower benches and other features may be created with HYDRO-BLOK 1.5 inch wallboard. HYDRO-BLOK joint sealant is all that's required to construct most custom shower features. Carefully measure all pieces, providing support for the benchtop every 12 inches. All seams should be joined with a 1/2 inch or thicker continuous bead of joint sealant. Smooth out any excess joint sealant with a putty knife, adding extra joint sealant where necessary to ensure all seams are fully covered 1 inch on either side. We recommend covering any exposed foam with joint sealant before tiling. Carefully measure and cut your shower curb so that it's 1/8 inch shorter than the distance between the two walls. The shower curb may be cut with an appropriate handsaw or similar tool. Dry fit the shower curb in place before installing. For HYDRO-BLOK shower pan models with a 2-inch outside height, the notch height of the shower curb must be increased by a 1/2 inch. Now begin installing the curb by troweling thinset out from the shower pan edge to the edge of the curb location. Trowel away from the pan in one direction. Apply thinset on the underside of the shower curb with the smooth edge of the trowel. Apply a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant along the shower pan notch as well as the exposed foam edge of the shower pan. Apply a generous amount of joint sealant to the wallboard where the ends of the shower curb will be located and to each end of the shower curb. Position the shower curb ensuring the curb is firmly pressed into place. Place the curb from the top down at a slight angle to avoid the thinset from contacting or mixing with the joint sealant. Remove any excess thinset and use a level and square to check the proper placement of the curb. Apply a continuous 1/2 inch bead of joint sealant into the seams where the shower pan meets the curb or wallboard. Smooth out the joint sealant with the putty knives. And apply the 2-inch mesh tape included with the shower pan along the joint between the shower pan and curb and to all joints where the curb meets the wallboard. Cover the mesh tape with an additional continuous bead of joint sealant and smooth out with the putty knives. Apply a continuous 1/2 inch bead of joint sealant along any seams between the shower pan and any extensions. Smooth out the joint sealant with a flat putty knife. Apply lengths of the 2-inch mesh tape along all joints between the shower pan and any extensions. Cover with a 1/2 inch continuous bead of joint sealant and smooth out with the flat putty knife. Thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at HYDRO-BLOK.com for all the latest HYDRO-BLOK news and information.